16th 29th January, Saint Nino, equal to the apostles, the Enlightener of the Georgians. Georgia, the country, as opposed to Georgia the state within the United States, adopted Christianity as its official religion early in the 4th century. That is decades earlier than the Roman Empire, which did not adopt Christianity until the year 380 with the Edict of Thessalonica. The people who live in Georgia call their country Sakartvelo, or the land of the Kartvelians, although the name Georgia has been attested to in foreign sources since the 14th century. Some say that this name refers to the people's special veneration of St. George. Others link the name with the Greek Georgos, tiller of the land. Both theories are likely incorrect. The Greeks referred to Georgians as Iberians, Iberoi, thus the name of the famous icon of the Mother of God, the Theotokos of Iberon. St. Nino was not a Kartvelian. She was born in Cappadocia and may have actually been of Jewish ethnicity. There is no direct evidence for this, but the names of her parents, Zebulun and Susanna, traditional Hebrew names, as well as the fact that upon reaching Kartli, the central region of what is now Georgia, St. Nino lived with the Jewish community in the town of Urbnisi. These factors may indicate that Nino's parents may have been Jewish Christians living in Cappadocia. As such, it is said that they personally knew St. George of the dragon-slaying fame, who was also from Cappadocia. Some even say that St. Nino was St. George's cousin, but this is impossible to verify. It is also claimed that on her mother's side, St. Nino had an uncle named Juvenal, who was the Patriarch of Jerusalem. She may have indeed had an uncle who was a bishop, but a Juvenal did not ascend the patriarchal throne in Jerusalem until the year 459, more than a century after the events in St. Nino's hagiography. Nino was 12 years old when her righteous parents decided to devote their lives to God. They gave away all of their possessions. Zebulun became a missionary, while Susanna started caring for the poor. Nino was left in the care of a certain woman named Sarah, who lived at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. It appears that Sarah may have led what we would now recognize as a monastic lifestyle, but perhaps without belonging to any organized monastic community. At some point, according to the hagiography, Nino heard that Queen Helena wished to be baptized. Nino decided to go to Constantinople and speak with the queen. This was Flavia Julia Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine I, called the Great. Helena was likely a common-law wife of Constantine's father, Constantius, although some say that they were married officially. Whatever their relationship may have been, Constantius divorced Helena when Constantine was still a teenager. After the death of Constantius, his son Constantine was proclaimed Augustus, or emperor, in the year 306. In 324, he gave to his mother, Helena, the title of Augusta. By some accounts, Helena accepted Christ through her son. Likely, shortly before her famous pilgrimage to the Holy Land in 326. This date, between the years 324 and 326, perhaps gives us an approximate time frame for when St. Nino may have met St. Helena Augusta. It appears that Nino spent 2 years in Constantinople, living in the house of a certain Ripsimer, who was of noble birth and close to the royal family. It is the same Ripsimer who received a marriage proposal from Emperor Diocletian, which prompted her and 35 other women, possibly an early group of consecrated virgins, to flee to Armenia, where they were killed at the instigation of Diocletian. The hagiography of St. Nino says that she was among those virgins and survived the massacre, but this may be an anachronism. Diocletian retired in 305 and died 6 years later. Ripsimer, according to her hagiography, was killed in the year 290, when Diocletian was in fact Augustus. But these dates seem a bit early in the context of Saint Nino's hagiography, as she may have only been born around the year 296. Be that as it may, Saint Nino continued through the Caucasus and arrived in the Kingdom of Kartli, modern-day Sakartvelo or Georgia. As is mentioned above, in Georgia, Nino lived in the local Jewish community for some time, until she was able to tell King Mirian about Christ. This was Mirian III, the first Christian king of Georgia, who ruled from 318 to 360 and may have declared Christianity the official religion of the Kingdom of Kartli around the year 327. However, it is said that his wife, Queen Nana, was baptized by Saint Nino in the year 314. It is not our goal here to untangle all of the historical dates, a task that may be impossible, but only to note an approximate time frame. As an aside, like Nino, neither Mirian nor Nana were Kartvelians. Mirian was a son of an Iranian Shah, and his second wife, Nana, was Greek, possibly a daughter of a governor of Theodosia, present-day Crimea. As for the names Nino and Nana, some argue that they simply mean mother. Goddess Nana, or mother goddess, was worshipped in pre-Christian Georgia, and several variants of this word, Nana, Nena, Nene, still exist in some regions of Georgia to mean mother, although the word for mother in modern Georgian is different. While living in Kartli, Saint Nino took two branches of a grapevine, tied them together with her hair, and made a cross, before which she prayed. Other versions of the hagiography say that the Most Holy Mother of God appeared to Saint Nino before she set out for Georgia and gave her the cross. Before her death, Nino gave the cross to King Mirian, who in turn gave it to his son. At some point in the 18th century, the cross ended up in Russia, but Emperor Alexander I returned it to Georgia in 1802. It is not known with certainty when Saint Nino died, perhaps around the year 338. She walked around Georgia preaching the gospel of Christ until her death in a village of Bodbe, in a region called Kakheti. A small monastery was founded in that village by King Mirian, and a larger complex was built in the 9th century. The holy relics of Saint Nino still rest there almost 17 centuries later,